10 habits that cause Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease is a sneaky little thief that gradually robs people of their memory, cognitive abilities, and independence. While aging and genetics play significant roles, it turns out some of our lifestyle choices can speed up the process. Yes, you heard that right. Your daily habits could be making your brain age faster than it needs to. The good news? You can totally change that. In this video, we'll talk about 10 scientifically proven habits that may increase your risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Don't worry, it's not all gloom and doom. Most of these habits are things you can ditch, like last year's fashion trends. Think of this as a user's guide to what not to do if you want to keep your brain in top-notch shape. Let's dive in and give those bad habits the boot before they turn your mind into a rusty old filing cabinet. 1. Leading a sedentary lifestyle. Think sitting all day is harmless? Spoiler alert, it's not. A sedentary lifestyle is like a slow poison for your brain. Lack of movement reduces blood flow to your noggin, limiting the oxygen and nutrients it needs to function. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, titled Sedentary Behavior and Alzheimer's Disease, a population-based study, found that people who barely move have a much higher risk of developing Alzheimer's. In other words, Netflix marathons may not be doing your brain any favors. Sure, binge-watching your favorite series might seem like a good idea now, but your brain cells are probably screaming for some fresh air. Get up, stretch, walk, or dance around your living room. Your future self will thank you. After all, a little movement could save you from turning into a couch potato, literally and mentally. 2. Consuming a poor diet. Let's be real. Junk food might taste like heaven, but it's a one-way ticket to brain fog city. Diets high in processed foods, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats aren't just bad for your waistline, they're a disaster for your brain. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Neuroscience, 2016, titled Dietary Patterns and Cognitive Decline in Older Adults: The Role of Processed Foods, showed that people who lived on burgers and fries had a higher risk of Alzheimer's. Think of processed food as junk mail for your brain. It clogs up the system and causes inflammation. On the flip side, whole foods like fruits, veggies, and healthy fats give your brain the nourishment it needs to stay sharp. So, next time you're reaching for those chips, just remember, your brain deserves better. Try trading them in for something that won't make you forget your own name down the road. 3. Chronic sleep deprivation. If you think pulling all-nighters makes you more productive, think again. Chronic sleep deprivation is like running your brain on empty. And trust me, that's not a good thing. During sleep, your brain clears out the gunk, aka beta-amyloid proteins, that can lead to Alzheimer's. A study published in Science Translational Medicine, 2018, titled Sleep Deprivation and Alzheimer's Disease Pathogenesis, showed that people who skimp on sleep are at a much higher risk of developing the disease. Let's face it, your brain's cleaning crew doesn't work while you're scrolling through Instagram at 3 a.m., so unless you want to give Alzheimer's a head start, it's time to prioritize those zizzes. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, and if you can't remember the last time you woke up refreshed, maybe skip the late-night Netflix bender tonight. 4. Social isolation. If you think being a lone wolf is cool, your brain would beg to differ. Turns out, social isolation is one of the sneakiest contributors to cognitive decline. A 2019 study in the Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery, and Psychiatry, titled Social Isolation and Risk of Dementia, a population-based study, found that people who avoid social interaction are at a higher risk of developing Alzheimer's. Yep, being a social butterfly isn't just fun, it's actually brain-saving. Loneliness can lead to depression, and guess what? Both of these can fast-track you to cognitive decline. The moral of the story? Don't ditch your friends and family. Schedule that coffee date, call your mom, or join a book club. Your brain needs those conversations just as much as your soul does, and the occasional gossip session might just keep you sharp for years to come. 5. Chronic stress. We all deal with stress, but chronic stress? That's where the trouble begins. Long-term stress floods your brain with cortisol, which in high doses can damage the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory. A study in Psychological Medicine, 2017, titled Stress and Alzheimer's Disease. The Role of Cortisol, found that chronic stress can significantly raise the risk of Alzheimer's. Think of stress as your brain's worst frenemy. It sticks around, messing things up, and before you know it, you can't even remember where you left your keys or your sanity. To keep your brain in check, it's time to start managing stress like it's a full-time job. Meditation, yoga, or simply breathing deeply can make a world of difference. Or if all else fails, treat yourself to a nice, long bubble bath. 6. Heavy drinking. Sure, we've all heard that a glass of wine a day might be good for your heart, but heavy drinking? Not so much. Overindulgence in alcohol can shrink your brain faster than you can say cheers, increasing your risk of Alzheimer's. A study published in The Lancet Public Health, 2018, titled Alcohol Use Disorders and Risk of Dementia, a nationwide study, found that heavy drinkers had a much higher risk of developing dementia, including Alzheimer's. Think of alcohol as a slow leak in your brain's memory bank. The more you drink, the more memories slip away. So, if you're hitting the bottle too hard, it might be time to switch to water, or at least stick to one drink a day. Because let's be real, brain cells are way too precious to be wasted on a tequila binge. 7. Smoking. If you thought smoking only wrecked your lungs, here's another reason to quit. It also seriously damages your brain. Smoking decreases oxygen flow to the brain, causing cognitive decline and increasing the risk of Alzheimer's. A study published in the Journal of Neurology, 2015, titled Cigarette Smoking and Risk of Alzheimer's Disease, a meta-analysis, found that smokers are up to 50% more likely to develop Alzheimer's than non-smokers. Think of smoking as a thief that not only robs you of your lung capacity, but also your brain power. The good news? It's never too late to quit. Your brain, much like your lungs, can begin to heal once you ditch the cigarettes. Your future self will be grateful, and so will your wallet, considering the price of cigarettes these days. 8. Ignoring mental health issues. Pretending your mental health issues don't exist is a surefire way to fast-track cognitive decline. A study published in JAMA Psychiatry, 2014, titled Depression and the Risk of Alzheimer's Disease, a meta-analysis, found that people with untreated depression were at a significantly higher risk of developing Alzheimer's. Depression leads to changes in brain function that can speed up cognitive impairment. Ignoring your mental health is like ignoring a flashing red warning sign on your car's dashboard. It's not going to end well. Whether it's anxiety, depression, or anything in between, seeking help is crucial. Therapy, medication, or even talking to a friend can make all the difference. Mental health matters as much as physical health when it comes to keeping your brain in top shape. 9. Not challenging your brain. If your brain had a gym membership, are you sure it wouldn't have expired by now? A lack of mental stimulation is a fast lane to cognitive decline. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology, 2013, titled Cognitive Inactivity and the Risk of Alzheimer's Disease, found that individuals who rarely challenge their minds had a higher risk of Alzheimer's. Think of your brain as a muscle. It needs regular exercise. Reading, learning new skills, playing games, and solving puzzles are like squats for your brain. So, if your daily mental workout is scrolling through cat videos, it's time to step it up. Give your brain a real challenge before it starts losing its edge. 10. High blood pressure. Here's a fun fact. High blood pressure doesn't just put your heart at risk, it's also terrible for your brain. A study published in The Lancet Neurology, 2017, titled Hypertension and Alzheimer's Disease, a meta-analysis found that uncontrolled high blood pressure is a major risk factor for Alzheimer's. The damaged blood vessels limit blood flow to the brain, causing cognitive decline over time. Keeping your blood pressure in check isn't just about preventing heart attacks. It's about keeping your brain sharp too. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and stress management can keep your blood pressure in a healthy range. Think of it this way. A healthy heart is equal to a happy brain. Win-win. There you have it. 10 habits that can speed up Alzheimer's. The good news? You're not doomed. Many of these habits can be reversed, and your brain will thank you for it. So, start making those brain-healthy changes today. Because really, who wants to misplace their keys and their marbles?